Wisdom is one of the greatest treasures a person can possess. It is the foundation upon which sound decisions are built, the guiding light that helps us discern between right and wrong, good and bad, better and best. Wisdom provides clarity when confusion surrounds us and direction when life feels like a maze. But here is the truth that many people never fully grasp: wisdom alone is not enough. Wisdom shows you what to do, but unless you act on it, it produces nothing. Knowledge without execution is wasted potential. Think about it this way: wisdom is like the blueprint of a beautiful house. You can hire the best architect in the world, get the most detailed and accurate design, and roll out the most incredible vision of what your home will look like. But if you never pick up a brick, never lay a foundation, never start the process of construction, all you have is an idea on paper. The house never exists in reality. In the same way, wisdom without action leaves your life full of unbuilt dreams, abandoned plans, and missed opportunities. So many people spend years searching for wisdom. They read books, attend seminars, take courses, and seek out mentors. All of that is good. In fact, you should pursue wisdom because it is better than silver and gold. But here's the catch: wisdom only has value when it is put to work. You can know exactly how to start a business, but if you never register that company, never launch your product, never serve your first customer, wisdom remains trapped in your mind instead of transforming your life. The world is full of people who know what they need to do but never do it. They know they should eat healthier, but they keep reaching for junk food. They know they should save and invest, but they keep spending recklessly. They know they should apologize and mend that broken relationship, but pride keeps them silent. Wisdom whispers the truth, but action is what turns whispers into reality. Without action, wisdom remains potential energy that never becomes power. Here's the difference between people who succeed and people who remain stuck. It is not that one group is smarter than the other. It is not even that one group has more opportunities than the other. The difference lies in who takes action. Wisdom might reveal the path, but only action makes the journey possible. A wise person who refuses to move will always be outrun by a less knowledgeable person who is willing to act. Consider the story of the talents. One servant took what was given and multiplied it. Another buried it in the ground. Both had access to wisdom. Both knew their master expected a return, but only the one who acted saw increase. The other, despite knowing, was left with nothing. That is the danger of wisdom without execution. It deceives you into thinking you are prepared when in reality you are unproductive. Action is the multiplier. Think about multiplication. If you multiply 0 by any number, the result is still 0. Wisdom without action is like multiplying by 0. It doesn't matter how great the wisdom is, it produces nothing. But when you take even small actions, wisdom compounds. It multiplies opportunities, relationships, and resources. A single step forward can unlock doors that wisdom alone could never open. Some people say, I'm waiting for the right time. But the truth is, there will never be a perfect time. Wisdom can help you prepare, but at some point you must leap. The longer you wait, the more you delay the fruit of wisdom. Seeds don't grow by sitting in a pouch on the shelf. They grow when they are planted, watered, and exposed to sunlight. Your wisdom is like that seed. Until you plant it in action, it cannot multiply. Action also has a refining power. You don't always need to have everything figured out before you move. Often clarity comes through motion. You might not know the entire road ahead, but if you take one step, the next step often reveals itself. Wisdom gives you the compass, but walking the path teaches you the terrain. When you combine wisdom with action, you don't just dream, you build, you create, you transform. The tragedy of wasted wisdom is that it gives the illusion of progress without the reality of results. People sit in circles discussing what they know, debating strategies, analyzing possibilities, but nothing in their lives changes. At some point, you must shift from being a thinker to being a doer. Wisdom is better, yes, but wisdom without action is like owning a car and never driving it. The vehicle has the capacity to take you far, but only when you put it in gear and press the accelerator. If you want your life to shift, if you want your destiny to unfold, wisdom must not just inform you, it must ignite you. Take that insight you've been sitting on and move. Write the book, start the business, apply for the opportunity, have the conversation. Don't just know the truth, live it. Because wisdom is the foundation, but action is the multiplier. Without action, wisdom stays silent. With action, wisdom speaks through your results. Do you want me to expand the next keynotes? Wisdom must partner with courage and discipline in the same 700-word Myron Golden style. Wisdom by itself is powerful, but wisdom without courage and discipline is like a lamp with no wall. It has the potential to shine, but it never gives light. Many people know what they should do. They know the right path. They even recognize the decisions that could change their lives. But knowledge does not automatically create transformation. It takes courage to act on what wisdom reveals, and it takes discipline to continue walking in that direction when the road gets hard. Without these two partners, wisdom stands alone, unable to produce results. Courage is the bridge between wisdom and action. It is what allows a person to step out into the unknown, even when fear is screaming in their ear. Most people never step into their destiny, not because they don't know what to do, because they're afraid to do it. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of loss, fear of embarrassment. These fears create invisible chains that hold people back. Wisdom will tell you what the right decision is, but courage is what gives you the strength to actually make it. Think of all the opportunities that people miss because they allow fear to overpower wisdom. They know they should apply for that promotion, but fear whispers, you're not qualified. They know they should start that business, but fear says, what if it doesn't work? They know they should speak the truth, but fear reminds them people might not like it. Wisdom reveals the door, but only courage dares to walk through it. That is why wisdom without courage is incomplete. It's like having a map, but refusing to start the journey. But courage alone is not enough either. Many people start with great enthusiasm. They step out boldly. They launch with excitement. They declare their intentions to the world. But when obstacles show up, when progress feels slow, when the results don't come as quickly as expected, they quit. This is where discipline comes in. Discipline is the power to remain consistent, to keep showing up, to stay focused on the process long enough for wisdom to bear fruit. Discipline is not glamorous. It does not always feel exciting. It is the daily grind, the small decisions, the habits repeated over and over again. Wisdom may tell you that you need to take care of your health, but discipline is what gets you to the gym when you don't feel like it. Wisdom may tell you that saving and investing will build wealth, but discipline is what keeps you from spending every extra dollar you get. Wisdom may tell you that relationships require love and forgiveness, but discipline is what helps you bite your tongue, show kindness, and keep serving even when you don't feel appreciated. When courage and discipline partner with wisdom, something powerful happens. Courage takes the first step and discipline keeps taking the next step, and together they create momentum. Success rarely happens overnight. Breakthroughs rarely come without resistance. The person who succeeds is not always the one who knows the most, but the one who has the courage to begin and the discipline to continue. Even in history, some of the greatest breakthroughs were not achieved by the wisest people, but by those who had the boldness to act and the persistence to keep going. The Wright brothers did not have the greatest education in engineering, but they had the courage to try to fly when everyone else said it was impossible and the discipline to keep failing forward until they succeeded. Their wisdom was valuable, but without courage and discipline, it would have remained an idea instead of becoming an invention. The truth is, wisdom often requires you to step into uncertainty. By its nature, wisdom will challenge you to leave your comfort zone and trust in principles more than in circumstances, and that is where courage is vital. But once you step out, the road will not always be smooth. There will be setbacks, delays, and disappointments. That is when discipline becomes the anchor that keeps you sturdy. Courage gets you started. Discipline gets you finished. Many people sabotage themselves by separating these three. Some have wisdom without courage, so they stay stuck. Some have courage without discipline, so they start but never finish. Some have discipline without wisdom, so they work hard but in the wrong direction. The true power comes when all three work together. Wisdom points the way. Courage steps onto the path. Discipline keeps walking until the destination is reached. If you want your life to truly transform, you must understand this partnership. Don't just be a person who knows the truth. Be a person who acts with boldness. Don't just be a person who starts with passion. Be a person who finishes with consistency. Marry wisdom to courage, and then bind them both to discipline. That is how ordinary people accomplish extraordinary things. Wisdom may show you the mountain, but courage begins the climb, and discipline keeps you moving until you reach the peak. When wisdom, courage, and discipline work together, your life becomes unstoppable. You stop being someone who talks about what could happen and become someone who lives in what does happen. You stop being paralyzed by fear and inconsistency, and you begin to produce fruit that others can see and taste. That is when wisdom stops being potential and starts being power. When it is activated by courage and sustained by discipline. Do you want me to also expand the third keynote? Wisdom requires divine favor and alignment into a 700-word section in the same style, so you'll have a complete 3-part speech. Wisdom is a priceless gift. It helps us make better choices, avoid unnecessary mistakes, and create opportunities that others overlook. But as powerful as wisdom is, it still has its limits. You can be wise, strategic, educated, and hardworking, yet still find yourself hitting walls that seem unbreakable. Why? Because true success is not only the result of wisdom, it is the result of wisdom working in harmony with divine favor and alignment. Without God's grace, without his timing, without the right doors opening at the right moment, wisdom can take you far, but not all the way. There are countless stories of people who had wisdom but still failed because they tried to operate solely in their own strength. They had great plans, but the timing was wrong. They had brilliant ideas, but the wrong connections. They had good intentions, but they weren't aligned with a higher purpose. Wisdom can prepare the soil, but only God can send the rain that causes the harvest to grow. Wisdom teaches you how to sow, but favor brings the increase. Think about how often we see people who are not as wise, not as skilled, and not even as deserving, yet they seem to walk through doors of opportunity that others cannot open. That is not just luck, it is favor. Favor is when God's hand arranges circumstances in ways that wisdom alone could never orchestrate. Favor is when you are introduced to the right person at the right time, when an opportunity finds you without you chasing it, when something works in your favor that you could never have engineered by yourself. Alignment is equally important. Wisdom can show you the right principles, but alignment with God's will positions you to receive what he has already prepared. Many times frustration comes because people are wise in their own eyes, but misaligned with divine direction. They are chasing opportunities that are not meant for them, pushing on doors that were never designed to open, or clinging to situations that God has already closed. Alignment means trusting God's timing, trusting his process, and being willing to adjust your plans to fit his purpose. The truth is, human wisdom has limits. No matter how intelligent you are, you cannot control